Okay, so the first questions in acid base اللي هني multiple choice questions. You have only one, sometimes more than one answers present. So let's look at the first one. Let's look at the first question. Which of the following statements are correct? You have to look at every statement and analyze it. Based on Bronsted, كلنا بنعرف definition of Bronsted. An acid is a species likely to donate a proton. What do you think? Yes, because this is the definition of Bronsted. Bronsted acids, Bronsted bases. Bronsted bases accept a proton, the acids donate a proton. Okay? Now, B. So this is correct. A strong acid has a weak conjugate base. What do you think? Does a strong acid have a weak base as a conjugate? The base of the conjugate base of a strong acid, can it behave as a base؟ احنا قلنا انه conjugates of strong acids are called spectators because they cannot behave as bases. إذا بنتقل لsolvent تاني غير ال H2O then I can say yes. However نحن هون عم نشتغل in H2O. So a strong acid has a strong conjugate base? أكيد no. A weak base has a weak conjugate acid. What do you think for D? إذا أنا عندي a weak base the conjugate acid اللي له بيكون weak? Yes, absolutely. A weak base has a strong acid has a conjugate acid with no strength. مين هيدي صح؟ أمتى بتكون this correct؟ So you can say a strong base has a conjugate acid with no strength. Exactly, which is why it's called a spectator. So what's true home is basically A and D. خلينا نكتبهم بهالطريقة حتى تعرف إنه هيدولي true. This is true. This is true. So the answer is A and D. Okay. Second one. Which of the following ionic solids, it basically means that you have salts, produce a basic solution in H2O. Why is D true? لأنه a weak base بيكون عنده weak conjugate acid. Weak bases عندهم conjugate acid وأكيد ال conjugate acid حيكون weak. Okay? Which of the following ionic solids produce a basic solution in water? To know the answer, you have to dissociate the solid. So, start with dissociating the solid. ال NaCl بيتكسر into what? The cation Na plus, the anion Cl minus. خلينا بالأول بس نجزئ الsalts, okay? NH4 plus, Cl minus, K plus, NO3 minus, okay? Ca2 plus, 2Cl minus, binary salts, remember. Na plus, Cn minus. Because you don't know anything yet, لأنه بعد ما عندكم any type of خليني أقول experience yet, given the pKa of NH4 plus NH3 is equal to 9.2, given the pKa of HCN slash Cn minus is equal to around 9.7. So, which one has a basic solution in water? Whatever has in its active components a base. طلع spectator, spectator, spectator. spectator. spectator كيف عم بعرفوا إنه spectator؟ لأنه ال pK اللي إلهم is not given. spectator spectator spectator. These are the only ones that are not spectators. However, واحد منهم is an acid one of them is a base. كيف عرفتهم؟ بتطلع على الكابل، هيدا الاسيد هيدا البيس. The couple is always written as the acid and the base إذا ما عرفتوا مين البروتون donor والبروتون acceptor. Acids render the pH acidic. Bases render the pH basic. So, which one of them will produce a basic solution? E. By the way, this took too long. In هلا ورايح you need much a very lower time to analyze this. Okay, going to 3. What is the correct pH definition of an aqueous solution? كلنا بنعرف إنه pH هي negative log H3O plus. Just find the correct one. هيدي هي بس لقوا the correct one B. بدكم تعرفوا ليش الباقيين غلط طلعوا فيهم. plus log H3O plus, this is not okay. log HO minus كمان not okay. Number 4. The correct definition of the acidity constant Ka of an acid-base couple is كلنا بنعرف شو هي ال Ka. It's the conjugate base times H3O plus divided by the acid. وهيدي ال E اللي كاتبيلكم إياها بس to symbolize equilibrium. هي normally we do not write this E. هيدي ال E اللي كاتبينها هون. Okay. This E just to symbolize equilibrium. وأنا من هلا عم بقولكم إنه you don't need this E written. طلع this concentration is present بالequation لل K يعني you know the value is for equilibrium. يلا A minus times HA0 plus divided by HA. Which one is it? Let's find the correct one. This is the one. ما في شيء لحد هلا. This is completely mundane. Again, the pKa of an acid-base couple is defined by, what is the pKa? It's what? Pay attention. E is for sorry E هون هيدي الفكرة اللي أنا ما بحبها. E هون is basically من الفرنش it's E. So it's water. So لما بيقولوا لكم Ke, this is basically Kw. In English, they should tell you Kw. Okay, so which one is it? What is pKa? What is pKa? It's negative log Ka. أي وحدة؟ D. Six. The pK of the couple acetate اللي هلا صرنا شغالين فيه كذا مرة is 4.8. For an acidic acid solution in water, we can say acidic acid, it means حددوا لكم إنه هو الأسيد اللي هو CH3COH. How does it behave in solution? How does it behave in solution? كلنا بنعرف CH3COOH with H2O will yield CH3COO minus and H3O plus. Can we say that the acid completely dissociates into its conjugate base? دغري, what's the answer? No, it's a weak acid. كيف عرفتوا weak acid? Because ال Ka اللي هي equal to 10 to the negative pKa is 10 to the negative 4.8, and this is too small. What does it mean too small? It favors the reactants. حتى لما بتكون less than 10 to the negative 3 we can normally neglect it إذا في something else, only if there is something else. So dilution favors the dissociation. ارجعوا لأسود law. نحن بس أخذنا أسود law حكينا عن acetic acid, we found that yes, dilution favors dissociation. So this is correct. If we dissolve 0.1 mole of acetic acid in 1 liter of H2O at equilibrium, half the acid is dissociated. No. كيف دغري عرفت no؟ هذا it's an important question. كيف دغري عرفت no؟ From this. انتوا بعدكم قايلين انه because ال Ka he 10 to the negative 4.8 which is much less than 1, it means it favors the reactants. When you say that half the acid is dissociated يعني عم بتقولوا لي K equal 1. When you say that half the acid is dissociated, it means that the reactants are equal to the products يعني عم تقولوا لي انه ال K is basically 1, which is not true. Okay, so this is false. Again, CH3CO minus is a strong base. أكيد no, it's the conjugate of a weak acid, so it is a weak base. The pH of the solution is 4.8. كمان no, you can definitely know it's not going to be 4.8. It is definitely not going to be 4.8. Now tell me why. فكروا فيها كيف دغري عرفنا انه ما حتكون 4.8. If the pH is 4.8, it means basically that the pH is equal to the pKa. Then it means CH3 COO minus فكروا بهندرسون هاسلباك is equal to CH3 COOH, and this is not correct. بعدنا قايلين انه it favors the reactants. It means dissociation is not half. مش half the amount of the acid has been changed into the amount of the base. This is incorrect. If this is incorrect يعني أكيد this is incorrect. يعني أكيد the pH is not equal to 4.8. So it's only B. Why is C wrong? طلعوا على Ka. طلعوا على Ka. Ka is equal 10 to the negative 4.8, which is much less than 1. When it is that much less than 1, it favors what? The reactants. But if you want to be sure, calculate the pH. If you want to be sure, calculate the pH. 0.1 mole per liter. بكل بساطة, this is a weak acid. We can say that the pH is equal to half pKa minus half log C. If it is less or equal than pKa minus 1, هيدي conditions. Half pKa, 4.8 divided by 2 is basically 2.4 minus log 0.1 minus log 0.1 is basically plus 1. So minus times minus, that's plus half plus 0.5. So صار عندي أنا 2.4 plus 0.5. And this is the pH. For the acid to be half dissociated, the pH بدها تكون equal لل pKa اللي هي equal لل 4.8. If the pH is not equal to 4.8, it means that the acid is not equal to the base. It means that half the acid did not dissociate. Okay, but you can simply just look at Ka. You can simply just look at Ka. في many methods to solve this. You can actually find X من ال Ka دغري بنقول X square على C minus X. Find X. if you find x and it is equal to C minus X, يعني yes. Yes. Number 7. Given the following couples. في عندي أنا ClCH2COH I don't care بس طلعوا ال pK. في عندي a couple that has a pKa of 2.9. I have another couple that has a pKa of 4.8. I have another couple that has a pKa of 9.2. Which of the following statements are correct? NH3 is a weak acid. يلا, what do you think? What do you think? Why is it false? Exactly. هون بدي نبهكم إنه there's a lot of word play. What do I mean by word play? يعني لأول وهلة بتطلعوا فيها بتقولوا yes, it is weak. But you did not notice إنه ال NH3 is a base, not an acid. So it is not a weak base. It is not a weak acid. It is a weak base. ديروا عندكم كتير word play. So pay attention. Yeah. Part B. With equal concentrations in water. Acetic acid. خلينا نرقم الكابلز. هيدا couple 1. هيدا couple 2. هيدا couple 3. Acetic acid اللي هو couple 2 dissociates more than ammonium ion اللي هي couple 3. What do you think? What do you think? هون بدنا نحكي شوي عن ال pKa's, but what do you think? If they have the same concentration of in solution, well, concentration plays a very important role. هنشوفها هلا بعدين بالexercises. If they have the same concentration, مين dissociates more? Acetic acid أو ammonia, and why? مين dissociates more? CH3COOH أو NH4 plus. Bravo, the stronger acid will dissociate more. كيف عرفتوا مين ال stronger acid؟ هنكتبها هون. Stronger acid بيكون عنده كيف بدي اكتبها greater alpha. اتفقنا؟ هيدي dissociates more. مين ال stronger acid؟ الacid with higher pKa. So أنا بكل بساطة في يقول since pKa of الacetic acid اللي قلت عنه أنا لا مش 1 قلت عنه 2 sorry. Since the pKa of 2 is greater than the pKa of NH4 plus اللي قلت أنا عنها 3, then CH3COOH is a stronger acid. So it dissociates more. يعني this is true. B is true. Okay? No, wait. Sorry. It has a lower pKa. Lower pKa يعني higher Ka. Okay, بين bracket فينا نحط Ka2 greater than Ka3. Okay? Part C. Couple 1 أو الacid in couple 1 حددوا دايما إذا عم بيحكوا عن الacid أو البase is the strongest acid among the above species. Yes. Why? Because it has the lowest pKa. Okay? Strongest acid, lowest pKa. But remember, عم بحكي stronger و stronger. It's never strong. It's never strong because all of these are weak. Good. So C is true. Again, the base in couple 1 is the strongest base among the above species. What do you think? Strongest base correlates مع مين? Stronger base correlates مع lowest what PKB و highest PKA. خلينا دايما نركز على ال PKA. أنا قلت PKB وكتبت PKA. So the strength of the base is normally measured by KB صح؟ The higher KB the stronger a base is. higher KB يعني lower PKB, lower PKB يعني higher PKA. So strongest base has the highest PKA, which is basically an H3. So this is incorrect. Again, CH3COO minus is the weakest base among the above species. مين ال weakest base اللي بيكون عنده أوطى PKA. So no, it's not. مين true? مين true? The B and the C. These are the true answers. Good. Yes, مش ضروري تسأل. When we finish, I will give you this sheet. Okay. Yeah. هيدا من simple ماضي. Okay. هيدا من simple ماضي. Let's see if you can find the answer. What happens if a strong acid is diluted 10 times? The pH becomes what? وانتبهوا, this applies only for strong acids, never for weak. Okay? So, if you انتبهوا, when you dilute an acid, the pH طبيعي بدها تزيد. لأنه you're increasing the volume, so the concentration of the acid is decreasing, the pH بدها increase. But it increases by what? By 1 unit. برافو. من سنة الماضي. اوكي من سنة الماضي. كيف أنا بقدر أعمل الفاليديشن؟ حنكتب هون الجواب إنه yes it is E. It increases by 1 unit. Let's see why. pH is negative log H3O plus. من هلا ورايح هيك مفروض تبلشوا تفكروا. Okay? pH is negative log H3O plus. Change the concentration of H plus to 10 times lower. يعني dilute with the factor of 10 times. تتذكروا الفاكتور اللي كنتوا تاخدوه when it comes to dilution بدل ما تحطوا CV equal CV. You simply say إن ال V على V هو factor. So it's equal to negative log. شو صار بال H3O plus? It's been diluted 10 times. كيف بكتب أنا diluted 10 times? It's been lowered 10 times divided by 10. اتفقنا هيدي ال pH الجديدة. The new pH of the solution after 10 times dilution. طيب. Now all you have to do is math. Minus log H3O plus minus of minus log 10. خلاص هنحطها minus log 10 ما بيأثر. ما انه انتوا بتعرفوا انه 1 على 10 هي minus مع minus plus. So it's basically equal negative log H3O plus هي the original pH. Log 10 هي 1. Negative of negative هي plus. What happens to the solution? The pH increases by a whole unit. Okay? This is how you extract data from now on. Yeah, unless you actually have a question that you have to go into chemical foundations. Go to number 9. Number 10 مش هنسويها السيشن. It will be for the next session. بكون عندكم اياه homework. اتفقنا؟ Number 9. Concerning H2S. دغري لما تشوفوا H2S is basically what? طلعوا فيها. What is H2S? Diacid. Okay? Concerning H2S in a diluted aqueous solution. Okay, which of the following statements are correct? خلينا نركز بهالسؤال هلا برجع أنا بجاوب على قبل. Okay, يلا. So I have H2S. Whenever you see something, always try to find what you know. What do you know? H2S is a diprotic acid. بيروح على amphoteric HAS minus and then to S2 minus which is the base. So أنا لحالي في يجزي إنه ال H2S بده يتألف من الكابلز H2S HS minus هيدا couple 1 HS minus S2 minus couple 2. couple 1 بيكون عنده pKa1 couple 2 بيكون عنده pKa2. اتذكروا ال Ka1 is always greater than Ka2 هنكتبهم. ال Ka1 has to be greater than Ka2, so pKa1 has to be less than pKa2. اتفقنا؟ يلا. The pKa of H2S, HS minus, is less than the pKa of, yes, couple 1, couple 2. كتبناهم هون نحن بنعرفهم. Okay, the pKa of 1 is higher than the pKa of 2? No. The acidity Ka of 1, ليش عم بقول أنا 1 و 2؟ عم بحطهم هيك. Okay. The couples. The Ka of 1 is less than Ka of 2 أكيد. No. The first acidity is always stronger than the second acidity. Always. The acidity constant Ka of 1 is higher than the acidity constant of 2. Yes. HS minus is an ampholyte. What does it mean? Is it an amphoteric species? Can it behave as both an acid and a base? Yes. What are the correct answers? أكيد عندي ال E، أكيد عندي ال D، وأكيد عندي ال A. صح؟ Yes. Okay. Number 10 هي عبارة عن predominant domain of phosphoric acid. من أجله لمرت الجاي لأنه it needs a lot of time and a lot of explanations. Okay, let's do number 11. يلا خلينا نكتب هون بس لحتى نتذكر إنه number 10 try to solve it as homework. If you cannot, it's okay because it needs a lot of explanations. Number 11. Given the pKa values of a polyacid, نفسه ذاته على فكرة. ال pKa1, pKa2, pKa3 of the couples of H3PO4. Which of the following statements is correct? Okay. خلينا نجزئ قبل ما نجاوب. هلا remember إنه أنتوا you have to answer them without this segregation. Okay. نحن حنجزئ يعني حنرجع نعيد الشرح شوي قبل ما نجاوب. Remember إنه ال H3PO4 basically consists of H3PO4 H2 PO4 minus هيدا couple 1. couple 1 يعني Ka1 يعني pKa1. H2 PO4 minus HPO4 2 minus هيدا couple 2. But in the same acid HPO4 2 minus PO4 3 minus, this is couple 3. بعرف pKa1 pKa2 pKa3 بعرف Ka1 Ka2 Ka3 I know how they change. يلا. A. pKa2 is associated with this couple. طلعوا هذا الكابل موجود أصلا. This is a no. It's not even a couple. Couple, the difference between couples, انتبهوا, the difference between couples is one proton. عشان هيك اسمهم couples. لأنه an exchange of a proton took place. مش an exchange of 3 protons. Yeah. pKa1 is associated with couple 1. Yes. عشان هيك أنا كتبتهم على جنب. At pH equal 1, PO4 3 minus is predominant. هنكتب هون a line that is very easy. How can I divide the predominance of H3PO4. تذكروا انه نحن قلنا عندنا اهم 3 points. هدول ال 3 points are basically اول pKa اللي هي 2.1، تاني pKa اللي هي 7.2، تالت pKa اللي هي 12.1. This is how the pH changes. وبتكتبوا ال predominance بالترتيب. Before 2.1 ال H3PO4 dominates. Between 2.1 و 7.2 this is H2PO4 minus. Between 7.2 and 12.1 this is HPO4 2 minus. After 12.1 PO4 3 minus. انتبهوا أنا عادة كنت أعطي ال 10 وال 11 homework after we solve 10, but in this case هنحاول نحل ال 11. Remember the predominance لل H3PO4. إذا هلأ ما فهمتوها منيح هنحكيها الأسبوع الجاي بالتفصيل. اتفقنا؟ طيب تتذكروا شو كان في على 2.1 اللي هي ال pKa1 pH equals pKa1 plus log البيس اللي هو H2PO4 minus divided by the acid H3PO4. This is the pH line. Okay, sorry, pKa. It's pKa, but wait. فاتوا الأسئلة ببعضها. Okay. Ala, no. Razan, is it the pH line or the pKa line? It's the pH line, but you can identify pKa. Why? Because in certain points the pH بيكون equal للpKa أو الpKa بيكون equal للpH. Okay. على هيدي البوينت pKa1 هي pH. Why? Because the couples H3PO4 is equal to H2PO4 minus. اتفقنا؟ طيب هلا بجاوب على باقي الأسئلة، صار في كتير لأن at pH equals 1 مين predominant؟ H3PO4. So this is not true. At pH equals 8 لقوا ال 8 مين predominant؟ حط لكم عليهم arrow حتى ما تضيعيهم. This is 8. Predominant is HPO4 2 minus. This is true. At pH equals 10 هون 10. PO4 3 minus is dominant? No. Correct answers are B and D. هيدي أبسط طريقة لتقسموا ال predominance diagram أو ال predominance scale. أوكي هنشرحه بالتفصيل الأسبوع الجاي. خلوني بس شوف في حدا بعت لي السؤال فوق. Among weak acids we say that the strongest acid has the weakest conjugate base. Yes. Okay Mademoiselle Razan, if I'm working with weak acids the strongest acid بهدول الweak بيكون عنده the weakest base. Yes, absolutely. Is this always or just in the case of number 8? Number 8. No, for the pH changes 1 minute. This is all, 1 unit. This is always true for strong acids and only for strong acids. رح شددكم على هالكلمة هون. Strong acids when diluted 10 times, yes, the pH will change 1 unit. For weak acids, it will change actually less. وبنشوفها بعدين. Okay? Battery questions? No, I think this is it. Okay. State if a reaction takes place in a mixture of the following species. على فكرة ما بدهم what are the species present, what are the concentrations present, etc. etc. بدهم بس will a reaction take place. Okay, will a reaction take place? To know that, you have to put them where? على السكيل، على ال pKa scale, if you remember. Okay, wait, when the strong acids have their conjugates as spectators. ما فهمت شو السؤال. شو السؤال بالضبط هون مسيو عمر؟ Strong acids, they always have conjugates as spectators. Yes. Will, not when, will. Okay. So, number 12. State if a reaction takes place in a mixture between the following species, 1 and 2. What we're going to do hon, and we're going to insert a new page. Okay. Number 12. Number 12, part 1. Part 1 عم بيسألوكم will a reaction exist between CH3CO2Na and HCN. The first thing that you do is recognize مين الactive constituents are. So بأول وحدة الactive هو CH3COO minus لأنه ما تنسوا ال Na is basically a spectator. بتاني وحدة الactive is HCN. What you need now is to put them on a pKa scale. Okay, pKa scale. What's the pH of الاسيتيت؟ كلنا مش pH sorry pKa of acetate هي basically 4.8. okay, HCN 9.3. عندي 4.8 عندي 9.3. What happens is you can adjust it. So 4.8 he basically CH3COO minus CH3COOH HCN CN minus السبيشيز اللي أنا عم بشتغل فيهم هن HCN و CH3CO minus. I want to see what you do, what you say. Will a reaction take place? وباي ذا واي كان في برافو ألا كان في أعرف الجواب بدون ما أكتب ال pKa. بس I needed to see what you will say. A reaction will take place between HCN. هون انتبهوا للي أنا عم بحكي. A reaction will take place between HCN and CH3COO minus. But since this reaction does not abide by the gamma rule. انتبهتوا كيف رسمت الجاما؟ It is anti-gamma. The reaction will be limited. However, بالسؤال ما كتبوا ما سألوا what is the nature of the reaction or what is K or is it limited, is it advanced? No. All they said is will a reaction take place. A reaction will always take place. ما بيهمني أنا إذا advanced أو limited أو complete أو quantitative أو negligible أو whatever. A reaction will always take place between a donor, an acceptor and a donor. هون فيه يحط a reaction always takes place between a donor اللي هو ال HCN and acceptor. بدون ما اكتب ال pKa scale في يقول لهالكلمة so yes a reaction will take place. But to explain أكتر الكورس. what happens is that we draw the Ka scale. انتوا فعليا هيدا جوابكم بدون ما تكتبوا أي شيء تاني. أوكي؟ بس لحتى أنا ساعد الكورس واشرح من أول وجديد. A reaction will take place, yes, because one is a donor, one is an acceptor. How will it take place? It will take place according to the anti-gamma direction. For the anti-gamma direction, هون بقدر اسألكم قديش ال KR. Is it quantitative? Is it complete? Is it limited? Does it favor the products or the reactants? هون فيكم تقولوا لي anti-gamma, then KR is basically equal 10 to the power. انتبهوا إجباري تكون نيجاتيف. ذكرتوا نحن قلنا إذا with gamma it's pKa2 minus pKa1 لأنه الكبير ناقص الصغير. Against the gamma direction it's basically pKa1 minus pKa2 which is equal 10 to 4.8 minus 9.3 بكل بساطة. Okay, so which is 10 to the negative 4.5. Limited favors the reactants. هالتفاصيل كلياتها بالإكزام you don't do it, you stop هون. It's a donor and an acceptor, yes, a reaction will take place. Okay, طلعوا بتاني 1. هكتب دغري أنا الأكتيف ingredients HCl. الأكتيف لإله هو H3O+. كلنا بنعرف لما حكينا عن leveling effect of water صرتوا هلأ تعرفوا إنه ال HCl is actually has a pKa of less than 0. But since we're only going to focus between 0 on pKa's between 0 and 14, we level all strong acids in water to 0 and all strong bases to 14. انتبهتوا اللي مرة سألني إذا فينا نعيد leveling effect. مبدأ leveling effect when you're working with H2O. You know that strong acids they have a pKa that is less than 0 بيروحوا على negative. Okay? بس بما إنه أنا بدي دايما أكون limited between 0 and 14, I don't want to take a pKa in the negative. All strong acids are leveled to 0. بينحطوا على point pKa 0. All strong bases are leveled to 14. Okay? So ال HCl اللي هي H3O+, بحطها على pKa equals 0. But remember its pKa is not 0. حتى ما حدا يسألني ليش. The pKa of strong acids is not 0. They are leveled to 0 in H2O. Just for simplicity لا يقدر أنا أجيب ال KR. Okay? And second one is what? NaH2PO4 هي basically H2PO4 minus. هون في تريك صغيرة بدكم تنتبهوا لها. هون في تريك صغيرة بدكم تنتبهوا لها. أول شيء can the reaction happen? Yes, it can because we have a donor and an acceptor. H3O+ is a donor, H2PO4 minus is an acceptor. It can happen. نقطة على السطر خلص السؤال. Okay, but for us to actually work the question, we have to pay attention to something which is H2PO4 minus. H2PO4 minus is an ampholyte, so it can behave as an acid and a base. The question is, how do you know which role it takes? How do you know if it behaves as the acid or if it behaves as the base? كيف بنعرف? So I have H2PO4 minus. How do I know if it behaves as an acid or as a base in this question? أول شيء, you can do the pKa scale or you can simply look at the other one. مين ال second reactant بالسؤال؟ مين ال second reactant؟ H3O+. Can H3O+ behave as something besides an acid? ال H3O plus اللي موجودة بالسؤال فيها تكون something that is besides an acid? Can it behave as a base? Absolutely not. If H3O plus behaves as the acid, then H2PO4 minus will assume the role of the base without any doubt. It will assume the role of the base. Look at the second reactant. The second reactant is the acid. It is the base. To verify, you can always use the pKa. Always use the pKa. اوكي بس هون في something important. اول شيء لنبلش H3O plus. فكرة انه it's level to zero, it means that the H3O plus has to be placed at zero. تاني شيء طلعوا على الجيفن اللي عندكم اياه بالسؤال. Okay, you will notice that the H2PO4 minus actually exists in two couples. هون كان المفروض يعطيكم ال pKa لكل الكابلز. So رجعوا على number 11 to know all the pKa's. اوكي رجعوا على النمبر اللي انا كتبته قبل شوي. So H2PO4 actually exists in two couples. In couple 1 خليني ارجع ليكم. H2PO4 exists in couple 1 as the base, in couple 2 as the acid. خلينا نكتبهم اثنيناتهم. It exists in couple 1 as the base, H2PO4 minus H3PO4. اللي هي at pKa what مش 2.1. Yes. It exists in couple 2 اللي هي 7.3 أو 7.2 I think, اللي هي HPO4 خليني أقول 2 minus sorry HPO4 minus. طلعوا وينهم؟ انتبهوا معي شوي. أول reactant اللي هي ال H3O plus. تاني reactant وين كتبتها أنا؟ هون H2. تاني reactant اللي هي ال H2PO4 minus. طلعوا شوي acceptors sorry acceptors donors يعني they donate H plus. Can a reaction happen between H2PO4 minus and H3O plus if they both behave as a donor? يعني إذا اثنيناتهم عم بيشتغلوا كacids, can a reaction happen? No. هلا بنحكي realistically, will a reaction happen? Yes, it will when H2PO4 minus actually behaves as a base. Because it is an ampholyte, it can take both roles. Honey, it doesn't matter what you think, it will take the role of the base as long as the other reactant is the acid. So a reaction will take a place between H2PO4 minus and H3O plus, and it will be along gamma. So a reaction home will take a place, yes, between H3O plus, which is the acid, and H2PO4 minus, which is the base. With Kr, because it is along gamma, 10 to the power الكبير ناقص الصغير دايما pKa2 minus pKa1 because it is along the gamma direction, which is 2.1 minus 0, so 2.1. انتبهوا the pKa's sometimes change. اوقات بيعطوكم اياها 2.2 اوقات بيعطوها 7.3. It depends on what's given. Okay, it's not complete, it's not quantitative, but it does favor the products. اتفقنا؟ نشوف بس الأسئلة. Okay, here it behaves as a base. Why can't the reaction, Monsieur Samir, why can't the reaction go in the gamma direction؟ أكيد قصدك عن أول part صح؟ قصدك عن أول part. To find the reaction طلع بالسؤال. أنا بالquestion I told you إنه حطيت بالميديم HCN وحطيت CH3CO minus. For the reaction to happen along gamma بدها تكون بين CN minus وال CH3COH. أنا ما عندي بالسؤال CN minus وال CH3COH. أنا ما حطيت بالsolution هيدول الاثنين. You have to do the reaction between what you place in your solution. اوكي، بمجرد انكم بتعرفوا الكابل شو هو مش معناتها انه هذا الكابل exists in your solution. No, only one of them is added. Only one of them is added into the solution. واجن هيدا خليني اقول separation بنشوفه when we study the whole equation. يعني بعد شوي I think in number 22 أو 23 هنحط two couples، هنحط نقول A and B. بدنا نشوف مين الرياكشن that will happen. Will it be the reaction of A with B, or will it be the reaction of A that will give you A minus, or B that will give you B plus? So we study all the reactions that will take place هون بالcompetition of reactions. Okay, but for these type of questions عم بيسألوا عن الرياكشن between HCN and CH3CO minus. You don't have the right إن تدخل لا CN minus ولا CH3COH. These are products, not your reactants. They asked for the reactants. Okay, هذا كان number 12. Number 13. Number 13 is good. Okay, ركزوا شوي. Number 13. I have a monoacid HA. خلاص I have an acid HA. HA has a pKa of 5. Okay, وقفوا هون. عنده pKa, so it is a weak acid. هيدا weak acid because it has a pKa. Try to extract as much information as you can. This weak acid is mixed with a monobase B. هيدا البيس عنده pKb, so it is a weak base. Very simple. pKb 5 انتبهوا. pKa 5 pKb 5 pKa 5 pKb 5 كفوا. Which of the following statements are correct؟ أول شيء خلينا نكتب الرياكشن. The reaction takes place between HA plus B to give me بعدني ما بعرف أنا إذا complete or not. Why weak acid and weak base? Because you have pKa and pKb. Anything between 0 and 14 are weak. All acids and bases between 0 and 14 are weak. Okay? To give me A minus مع BH plus. Okay? إذا بتطلع أنا على السؤال عم بيسألوا عن الكومبليت، عم بيسألوا عن the products shifts strongly towards the products يعني it favors the products. عم بيسألوا عن ال reaction constant, the equilibrium constant، أو it cannot be calculated without further information. The easiest thing that I can do is just put the pKa scale. أسهل شيء بقدر أنا أسويه ارسمه على pKa scale. Okay. أول pKa هي 5. تاني pKa شو هي؟ What is the second pKa؟ هون remember you cannot fall into traps لأنه هذا فعليا trap. They gave you the pKb of B, you have to find the pKa. 14 minus 5 which is 9. ما توقعوا بهذا التراب لأنه كنتوا إذا ما انتبهتوا إنه pKb كنتوا علقتوا اثنيناتهم عندهم 5. what happens؟ So this is 9. هلأ جزئوهم. Okay, you have the acid اللي هو HA A minus, you have the base اللي هو B BH plus. ما وقفنا. Now you ask مين الرياكتنتس اللي أنا مفروض أشتغل فيهم؟ What are the reactants of the solution؟ ما في حط الرياكشن اللي أنا لحالي بقدر طلعه. You have to follow the guide of the solution. You have to follow the given of the solution. So in your solution قالوا لكم عندكم HA as a reactant and B as a reactant. اتفقنا؟ So HA as a reactant, B as a reactant. The reaction between B and HA actually follows gamma. انتبهتوا؟ It follows gamma لتعطيكم ال A minus وال BH plus. What does it mean؟ يعني the stronger acid HA أصلا هو عنده the lowest pKa أكيد حيكون the stronger acid, and the stronger base B لأنه عنده the highest pKa react to give you the weakest A minus أو weaker A minus وال weaker BH minus along gamma. So you find Kr. أنا بس أعرفها إنه هي it follows the gamma direction. Kr هي 10 to the power الكبير ناقص صغير pKa2 minus pKa1 9 minus 5 10 to the power 4. I have all the given that I need. All the given that I need, I have it. A. The proton transfer is complete. It's quantitative منه complete. هلا انتبهوا هون في خلينا نقولها هون في اشي حتلاحظوها different مع ال others. في أساتذة حيقولوا إنه طالما هي quantitative يعني 99% في اعتبرها complete. Okay? It's not wrong. It's not wrong لأنه نحن قلنا إنه quantitative و complete حنعاملهم أو حنشتغل فيهم كأنهم they're the same. وبقدر أقول إنه when you treat the reaction you treat it as if a single arrow for quantitative and complete. Okay, but if you follow the definition complete هي greater than 10 to the power 6 فنحن ما حنختارها. However, if others do they can. Okay, the reaction HA plus B shifts strongly towards the products. Yes أكيد it's quantitative أكيد حتروح كتير لعند the products. Equilibrium constant is 10 to the power negative 10. No, we already found it to be 10 to the power 4. Equilibrium constant is 10 to the power 4. Yes, we found it 10 to the power 4. Equilibrium constant cannot be calculated. No, عملنا له calculation. So the true answers are equilibrium constant هي 10 to the power 4. Reaction shifts strongly towards the products. Some professors okay بحطوا ال A لأنه عم بيعتبروا إنه complete reaction is the same as quantitative and it's okay. Okay, ما تعلقوا كتير عليها. It's considered okay if you say that it's quantitative is basically the same thing as complete مع إنه there is a difference of 100 between them. Okay, so that's number 13. قد صار له recording خلينا نوقفه.